freedom of expression is a fundamental right.
No one wants to talk about the difficult conversations that come with women.
With the rise of social media sites like TikTok, there has also risen, a rise in different forms of expression.
Because of the digital expansion, what we've been able to express has expanded as well. So this is very pertinent. What we're allowed to speak, how we're able to present has now changed, has grown and transformed so much. And I think it's important that Uganda has a good look at what our freedom of expression looks like now and how it has transformed over the years. We need to question in our minds from 2001 to 2025, what has been our goals? Have we gone down? Have we accelerated? And even with the access to information now, are you sure that you're able to walk into any institution and ask for your data? We try to express ourselves, it becomes very, very hard. You always have to put a blanket over that statement so you have, or pass it several times through several checks for it to even come out. Or even to merely organize, because organizing is a huge part of expression.
In the recent years, it's been increasingly difficult for the media, different sectors in the media, whether it's traditional media or the new media, to express themselves. Media has a duty. It's the watchdog in society. They put different government officials to check and all that. But increasingly that right, to play a role in society is increasingly becoming difficult.
With these two issues, the lawyers know that the frameworks cannot just be looked at from the constraints of what we have domestically. We have obligations at the regional level. We have obligations even at the international level. And all of these things, we have instruments that, guarantee these core freedoms. So the problem is never really, about the law. The laws are there, they're in place. Even from our very own constitution, these safeguards are provided there. And if you want to believe what is written on paper, these freedoms actually exist on paper. Qua ground, however, it is different. And I think this is where the discussion should actually focus.
What is the purpose of this law?
So when you see laws like, the Computer Misuse Act, they are laws that are weaponized. They are laws that, are coming in to actually, cripple that voice, that new space that is now emerging.
Because of that act, actually, there is a bit of self-censorship among journalists now. Let me give an example. Investigative journalists, for example, need a lot of information. Sometimes they have to record, sometimes they have to go to the extremes to get their stories. But now if you have the amended Computer Misuse Act, which is targeting online critics, you can't just, it has become increasingly hard for journalists, to get information. Actually, it's becoming increasingly hard, and when it was passed, many journalists made noise about it, that they're indirectly being targeted and being gagged, and they are not able to do their stories very well. So these laws, in a way, they say that they are kind of protecting the masses of the public or even people, but in a way they're also affecting work.
All right.
Especially when it comes to women, we see a lot of cyberbullying for women, politicians. Like you said, AI, 1 minute I'm talking on this radio show, another minute someone has undressed me and thrown me in their bed using an AI drive, So my ability to sue and the success of my case is now riding on the fact of how much influence I have.
For instance, for me, Jordan, if I am insulted on social media, I'm expected to suck it up and move on. For instance, it seems there are people who are more important and they are more likely to be offended.
What people don't know is that one case is handled by so many people. Sometimes it even starts with the community members. It comes to maybe the LCs, it comes to the police, it goes to now the legal practitioners there. That is where it ends. But a lot of time, if it fails, it is police. It is police. It is police. So everyone should know that if I need this kind of information, then the one who speaks, maybe for government, for police, is so and so. I have to go to them, maybe make an appointment with them, and they will get this information. Public service standing order is clear that there is one person who speaks on behalf of the institution.
Okay, women need to know that it's their right in terms of freedom of expression. It's their right. So I think there needs to be some bit of sensitization and advocacy for women that it's actually your right to express yourself, right? But also where you face instances of harassment, that is online harassment, whether it's also bullying and intimidation and all that, there are also avenues you can address them. So for me, I want to speak for the women still. Right?
All right.
Yeah, it's very important that they speak out. They shouldn't let the men take the online spaces. I mean, how will their voices be heard?
All right.
I think there should be some kind of controls, some kind of, in my view, regulations, because otherwise then people are not writing their CVs on social media. You don't even go to someone and they will not know about you. They already know so much about you, yes. And this is affecting so many people. People are losing jobs, people are failing to get jobs because of what they write on the social media pages. So it is a big problem. The enemy is within.
It's important that government also adopts human rights based approach programming, because when you adopt that kind of programming, you cease to see rights as these threats that are that are threatening your own grip on power, but actually these things that you can walk hand in hand with when you are achieving development. So for instance, by showing that when we have greater transparency and accountability, for instance, in a particular sector, that as a result of that accountability and transparency, that you're able to have greater yields within that sector would go a long way. So I think in line also with what Afande was saying, it's important for us to teach government officials to understand that human rights are not necessarily anti-government. They are not necessarily supposed to be looked at as antagonistic, but rather as tools that can actually be used to actually achieve development.
All right.
Young people are not as safe as they would seem, because technology and these online platforms, they move much faster than we can legislate to protect them. I'll give, Ugandans love seeing other people's nudity online and sensationalizing that and making it a topic. If you go to see if we have cases on behalf of victims, it's quite hard. Yes, there's one on the angle of people not knowing their rights, but even those who know their rights are unable to get justice because there are so many loopholes within our legislation. It's very hard to sue someone for taking a photo of you, actually. You would imagine that it's so easy that in public, if you're not a public figure, someone can take a photo of you and you find yourself trending on TikTok. What is the legal avenue there? You could find yourself very, very hard for you to achieve justice. So one of the key points that I'd like to push out is that our laws have to move much faster. We don't need to wait for a much larger incidence from someone who's more influential to start legislating for us to catch up. So the law cannot protect you in the online platform. It cannot. If I steal your data and I manage to hack into your Stanbic account, Stanbic as a legal entity, it has already made you sign some sort of waiver to protect itself. Police in itself is not yet equipped to capture that kind of cyber crime. It will take quite a lot of time and resources, which they do not have. They are stretched thin. So where will your justice go in this question?
All right.
Media houses overall, I think they need to continue standing their foot. If, for example, you feel that you're being gagged, I think it's everyone's responsibility as a journalist to go and, sound out. By sounding out many times, I've also realized that also different authorities, take a step back and they kind of let you do your work. So it goes back to the journalists and the media houses as a whole.
First of all, it's in the collective call for the respect of rule of law, because I think that's where everything must stem from. If there is a court decision, in the decision of, Andrew Mwenda, Charles Onyango versus the Attorney General, which is very clear on what the parameters of freedom of expression are and what amounts to freedom of expression, we should not then have a revision much later through acts of parliament that are meant to subvert that. If the Supreme Court passes a decision and we do not fight for the implementation of that decision, what we are essentially saying is that we are saying goodbye to all these other rights.
Women of Uganda Network is doing is what we should do and other NGOs should do. They are mobilizing us, they are asking us questions, they're bringing us on radio to talk, to create awareness. And I think that is what we should all do. Working together, collaborations. I think Women of Uganda Network again is doing this a lot, working with the police, working with other entities, negotiations, discussions, and seeing that we move together on the same path. So awareness raising is key. Everywhere. Villages, markets, even among the elites, we should still give awareness. But first, if you are dealing with people who are not aware about even their rights, people who don't even know what to share and what not to share, then there will be a problem. There will be a big problem. So awareness creation, in my view, is the first thing for us to do.
Okay.
If you look at other countries, how they do their things, people are informed, they know their rights, they even avoid some of these small crimes that we commit here everywhere. So that to me is what we should do.